Alright, are we back? Are we back? Fucking beautiful, and we're having no frame drops using OBS. Streamlabs is a piece of fucking shit, like we didn't already know. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Always use OBS. That is what we have learned today, okay? Always and forever use OBS. Always and forever. OBS is your friend, is your master, and is your savior. OBS. Now that we are done with shilling for open source software, and did I mention OBS is open source? That's how you can have shitty programs like Streamlabs exist in the first place, thanks to the generosity of the open source OBS project. It is truly incredible. Now that we are having no frame drops, we are finally going to get to this motherfucking video, and we are going to have a good stream. Are we ready, ladies and gentlemen? I don't think you are. I don't think any of you are ready or prepared for what we are about to do right now. We are about to play League of Legends and watch Destiny. And I just realized I am AFK. Not good. Not good at all. I guess I'm going bot. I'm going to be a support. Alright. I guess we're going to go ahead and start this Destiny video and everything is going to be chill.
Why? Say
Hold on,
something.
I'm not
Go.
taking hour to reply. Stop shouting at me. You were muting you. I'm
Okay, so
asking
you're
you
just gonna
wait,
give that back?
hold on, wait,
Oh, you want to get rid of it?
The question wasn't what should Israel do. The question is what should the rest of the world do about Israel. I don't know why you're saying what Israel should do. Okay, I'm unmuting you. Stop shouting. You said what should we do?
Okay, so you're just gonna give that back?
Hold on, wait.
Okay, I don't
I've
know
been
what...
hearing something.
Oh, I was playing the wrong
Oh,
one.
you want to get rid of it?
The
There we
question
go.
wasn't what should Israel do.
Now it's
The
working.
question is what should the rest of the world do about Israel. I don't know why you're saying what Israel should do. Okay, I'm unmuting you. Answer that question because you said what should we do? Tell me
Okay,
what
thank
should
you.
the
Can I
rest of the
answer?
world
Can I
do,
answer?
not Israel.
I've been hearing some things, and I don't like this. I don't like second and third hand, sources. I want to come to the primary source.
Okay.
Now, obviously, you know what's been going on, and I want to know what's your opinion on it. Give me a TLDR, because I'm sure you've been talking about it for a while, I guess. So,
I mean,
What's your
obviously, I
opinion?
have zero support for Hamas launching essentially terrorist attacks into Israel. I mean, I'm sympathetic to the Palestinian people, but I would caution people to even assume that the majority of the Palestinian people support these types of attacks. I don't even know if the majority of people in the Gaza Strip support these kinds of attacks. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd say, but I think that's probably a pretty safe and milquetoast lukewarm position.
How do you feel about the IRA, Frontos?
What?
don't worry about the IRA. I want to stick on topic, because, first of all, that is a very basic...
in this topic.
That is a very basic, right? That's a very basic take. I agree with you. It is pretty milquetoast. But here's the thing, right? First of all, I want to address 2 points before I get into my main argument. When I see pro-Ukrainian people, right, all these free Ukraine people talk about, oh my God, these war criminals in Palestine, they should all be jailed. It is the biggest load of fucking bullshit I've ever seen in my life. Number one, it is ironic too, because
Well, here, real
Russia's
quick, let's-
entire case as to why they're invading. Hold on, let me finish.
Yeah.
Right? Russia's entire case as to why they're invading Ukraine is because of historical claims to the fucking land and this, that, and third. And Israel's whole thing, why they took over Palestine, was this is our holy land. Historically, we lived here. So it's exact. You could damn near draw like a one-to-one correlation parallel between what's going on in Ukraine. Obviously, it's not as bad to what's going on in Palestine. Yet they side with the Israelis. That's number one. Number two, when we talk about war crimes, obviously, I would agree with you when you say most Palestinians want peace. Most Palestinians don't want to see innocent Israelis die. In fact, when I heard this thing, first of all, apostate prophet, the f***ing rat.
Wait,
It's so laughable to me that you have a guy like him.
Stop, don't make me mute you. Hold on.
What?
Wait, no, wait,
What?
because let's just do
What?
point by point. Why would you
Go.
come in and do 30 different things, okay?
Go ahead. Let's
Okay,
do it point by point. Go
so
ahead.
I think that there are arguments that you could make about Russia and Ukraine, that if you're making these types of arguments and then you have the opposite position on Israel Palestine, that you're a retard, right? I would broadly agree with you there, but I mean, obviously you would know. I would push back and say that Russia, Ukraine, and Israel Palestine are probably largely incomparable situations. That the delineation of territory for Ukraine and the entire world, including Russia, agreeing to and acknowledging those borders and then in the future reneging on that and then
Oh yeah,
invading
the
them,
stream is doing
that is
good.
a special kind of bad that we can't really say is happening with Israel and Palestine, right? The situation is significantly different. Hey, I drink bleach and I think
All right, hold on. So let me clear it up with you, right? Because I want to understand you perfectly. So you're saying the fact that they reneged on some sort of agreement that they would never infringe on Ukraine's sovereignty or take their lands is the main differentiator between what's happening in Palestine to what's happening in Ukraine. Is that what you're saying right now?
I would
'Cause
say
just
that
wanna
it's,
get
I would say
it
it's
right.
one of the largest. Yeah, I would say it's probably the biggest one. Yeah.
Okay. Besides that, which I listen, first of all, when you say that there's a lot of differences, I agree. But when you also said that you understood my point,
I almost have
you
as much
see where I'm
CS
coming
as
from. When
the
people say,
enemy bot
hey,
laner.
free Ukraine, Russia has no right to fucking enter their land. But they turn around and they look at what's happening with Palestine and they say, you know what, but technically Israelis lived here a couple of thousand years ago, so they have the right to the land. It's fucking crazy. Number one. Number two, when we talk about war crimes, it has been documented. Again, and Loner Bucks, you can fact check me on this. For decades, every single year, more Israelis killed Palestinians than the other way around. More Israelis killed Palestinians than the other way around.
That's true, but that's not relevant.
Check
And it
it.
doesn't
Go on.
matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It absolutely is relevant because people make it seem like Israel is this innocent state that has nothing to do, that is completely innocent and is getting fucking abused by Palestine. Well,
hold on, but just point by point, okay? I don't think anybody, or maybe some people that you've seen do this, I don't hear very many people say that Israel is innocent. Okay, I think that broadly speaking today, people recognize that there are bad things that happen on both sides, right? But like, I don't think just looking at the number of dead people is fair. I think people tend to look more disfavorably on the provocateur, and that's why people would say Israel, responds back and ends up killing more Palestinians and Palestinians kill Israeli people, right? So if people from the Gaza Strip launch 100 rockets into Israel, and 99 get intercepted and one hits a building, and then IDF soldiers kill 20 Palestinians or whatever in conflicts afterwards, it's kind of hard to look at that and go, oh well, look, Israel killed more people. Right.
Okay, hold on. The context that you just put it in is the fact why a lot of the bullshit that Israel does gets excused. They say, take it within context. It's because they're defending themselves. It's because they were aggressed upon. But the fact that they even exist on land that isn't theirs to begin with, it's like you're blaming the people that are trying to take back what's theirs for them actually going ahead and doing so. If somebody broke into your house and then you shot the motherfucker and now people are looking at you and him the same way, that wouldn't make any sense to you.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but the house comparison doesn't... No, yeah, the house comparison doesn't work though, because like when we say a house, we're loading this with a whole bunch of assumptions that make it obviously wrong. A house is generally, the state protects my right to own property, and I've got a place that's absolutely mine that we all agree on that. If you come in, I absolutely can kill you, right? The territories of Palestine and Israel, from the Ottoman Empire and onwards, and prior to that, have been arguably, fought over by different types of people. And the idea that one group that we can go to, like, oh well, in 1910,
damn it! I was so
this is where these people were
close.
exactly,
Hey, you got it.
Agreement to that land.
Nice.
Is probably not a fair way to
Fucking
say things.
nice.
It's not even realistic because, like,
Jesus.
Go back to any arbitrary date and time prior to the Ottoman.
Wait, you guys didn't even fucking see that.
To,
Fuck.
Palestinian people and different types of people even living in the lands of Palestine.
All right, I'm gonna like.
It just doesn't work that way.
I'm gonna move that right there.
The issue. You're not gonna reach an agreement where somebody feels like they're good.
Yeah, thank you. You're dispelling the entire Israeli argument as to why they're the rightful owners of the land, because their argument depends on the fact that they were the rightful owners and they were the people that lived here first, even though that's not true and that's disputable in itself. So that what you just said in itself argues for the Palestinian side. Number one. Number two.
You don't think it was the old? You don't believe in them being Israelites, descended from Israelites?
No. And
why not?
Also, yeah, thank you very much. Also, the fact that most of these people that are moving into Israel are people that lived elsewhere because they were diaspora and they were expelled by the Romans 3,000 years ago. These people damn near share nothing with the people that originally inhabited that land. They have no claim to it. And you could say, sure, Palestine was under the Ottomans in one period, was under the English in another period, but it was still Palestine. It was still Palestine. Prior to 1948, Israel did not exist. Israel did not exist. And the entire reason Israel exists is because the Europeans wanted to kick the Jews out of Israel. That's the entire reason it exists.
Wait.
And they were like, listen, we're going to find you a piece of land.
But under the...
Nice.
Palestine didn't exist as like its own independent territory under the Ottoman Empire either. No, it was an administered region of the Ottoman Empire. And then prior to that, I don't know the history before that, but like I think it's hard. I think it's hard to say this is
Nice.
a group of land that is owned by some people, like through one continuous ownership for thousands of years. It has never been disrupted, and therefore they ought to be able to own it indefinitely into the future. Like, couldn't you make that same argument for natives in
can't,
literally
no.
any country around the world? Like, do we give all of the USA back to Native Americans, or?
This is a good fucking
Let me
game
ask
so
you.
far.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me
Good
ask you
fucking
this,
games,
right?
bro.
Again, when you bring the natives and all those sort of stories up, right, or those cases up, that's again going towards the Israeli lens because that's how they viewed, and they're incorrect. And you're using the same argument with me. You're saying, okay, so if it can't work for the Israelis, it can't work for the Palestinians, and I agree with you, sure. But here's the thing: that area, even if you don't want to acknowledge the fact that it was considered its own nation, its own territory, it was still called Palestine, and it still had the people that live in it today. You could look at all the cases from Sheikh Jarrah, the people that had their land taken away from them. You could look at the fact that they could provide you documentation, show you like their
No.
great grandparents.
Okay, I gotta get out.
That piece of land that they had
Gotta
taken
get-
away from them
gotta go.
by the Israelis, by the occupying forces. You can't have
Nice.
the Israelis do the same.
Nice.
They can't, because I'll tell you what, most of those fucking people came from elsewhere. They have no claim to the right to the land whatsoever. None. And here's the thing: when people talk about a two-state solution, it
Nice.
fucking baffles me because none of you
No-
fucking people would
nice.
ever accept that.
Oh
in your
my
own nation.
God, we're
If a
bloody.
fucking
We're
occupying force came
brutal.
into your fucking nation, fuck
Come
you
on, let's
guys
take
all
Drake.
over. You wouldn't be sitting there and be like, you know what? Let's fucking negotiate with the terrorists. Let's negotiate with them. You know what? Let's fucking tell them, give us half and you take the other half. And
Well, but,
speaking
like,
about
what you're
Gaza,
talking
right?
There
about,
we
what you're talking
go.
about-
Gaza, by the way.
I think that what you're talking about, though, that you do that, right? You do negotiate. Like, that's like new nations exist that tons of people can have historical claims to. But more or less, one thing we've done from like the 90s onwards, with the exception of like some instances, maybe Kosovo, maybe Yugoslavia, for the most part, the borders are kind of set, and we realize as a world we can have to figure out this is it and then move forward from there. Like, as soon as we start saying, like, okay, well, historically, these people lived here 100 years ago, blah, 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 it kind of, like, destroys the world order. I just don't know if that's tenable, because so many people could probably arguably have, and fuck, I don't know the history of all the world, but I'm sure there are tons of people that can make strong claims historically to certain swaths of land, but, like, it's just not realistic going forward. Nobody's going to do that. It would upend the entire world order.
Only difference is one people lived on that land and was acknowledged to be the rightful owners of that land versus the other that just came in at 1948 and was given the land. That's the difference. Both of them argue from the same place. It's just that one was actually there, the other came in, the other was gifted the land. And the reason for that was because they didn't want them in Europe. They didn't want them elsewhere. That's why they gave them Palestine. That's why they told them, we'll give you your own nation.
Hold on, wait.
Go
it's
there.
not that
That's
they,
why the
that's
Zionists
not
and
true.
the Nazis all have the same mission.
Wait, hold on. It's not true that they
Wait,
just...
how is it not true?
Because Israel, Jewish people wanted a country as well. It wasn't like all of Europe was like, get out of here, you fucking losers. Like, Jewish people have been pushing through tons of
The
different
Zionist
organizations.
movement, yeah.
Yeah, that,
okay.
okay, so
Yeah.
so it's not like Europe just kicked them out and put them there, right? Also, the idea that my understanding, I could be wrong, tell me, because my history doesn't go back before really like World War I. Was there a country of Palestine that was owned and administered to exclusively by Palestinians, or were they always conquered by other people? Because my understanding is that if Palestine is part of the Ottoman Empire, Palestinians don't have like some national autonomy or authority there. They were just a state within the Ottoman Empire, and like those ethnic people were just roughly allowed to live there, no?
Yeah, but I think the argument
Can I
Karantos is
add
trying to make
something
is
to
that the argument Karantos is trying to make is that the Palestinians lived there, and then the Jews came from elsewhere because they were only like 6%. That region was like 6% Jewish in the beginning of the 20th century, right? And then they came in. So I think that's. But the problem, but you're saying you would never accept that, Karantos. Actually, we accept that, have accepted that throughout history all the time. Look at the amount of times the European borders have changed because of wars and because of conflict. Because the problem is, and even Africa, like borders like in Kenya, where there are ethnic groups that were split in half, and now they live on different ends of a border. Like they'd probably like to be united, but the problem is once you have conquest,
How
or
did
even
that work out,
colonialism,
by the way?
is that once these things happen, you have to deal with the situation that you've kind of like landed in, because you can't really, if you just try to rearrange every border that wasn't drawn in a perfect way, which is, by the way, none of them, then you're going to end up like with more fighting and more bitterness and more hatred. So that's the
God
reason
damn,
that,
I tried to get out of it.
like, unless you're telling me, do you sincerely expect that the 48 borders are going to go back to Palestine like through force? You think Hamas are going to succeed in like liberating all of historic Palestine and giving it back to Palestinians? Do you think that's a reasonable expectation? Or
I
no?
truly believe a reasonable expectation would be that if the Arab nations came together and aided Hamas and aided the liberators of Palestine that it could actually work out. Hamas alone cannot take on Israel. There's no fucking way. Like, they'll complete Israel, if they wanted to, they could wipe the Gaza Strip off the map. They could easily do that. They control the flow of food. They control the flow of water, electricity. They fucking have that place by the balls. They could completely eviscerate it, but they won't, because it looks bad on them. The fact that we act as though, it's so fucking hilarious to me. People act as though the Palestinians are the big bad wolf and they're so powerful.
Hey,
Brother, the
Wait,
only
wait,
reason
wait,
they
wait,
exist
wait,
is
wait,
because
wait.
Israel doesn't want to
Wait,
look
wait,
at
wait.
person.
Can I
Nobody,
add some
I don't think
context
anybody.
here?
Yeah, real quick. Nobody acts like Palestine is the big bad wolf. I think the big bad wolf is like the 50 wolves that Israel
Oh, come
always finds.
on. Yo, come on, man. Really?
Yeah, really.
Really?
yeah.
Go look at the coverage right now. Go look at the
No,
coverage.
no. Hold on.
I got
The
him.
issue for
I
Israel
fucking got
aren't
him.
Palestinians or the Gaza Strip.
He didn't
I think
know.
It's all the people
He didn't
in the
know I
region
knew.
that have a vested interest in the destruction of that country, right?
In
No,
the
get
destruction
the
of Israel,
tower.
even though most of these countries are
Oh,
actually
oh yeah,
in
you're
business
fucked.
relations with Israel. Qatar
Wait,
is
wait,
already,
wait, wait.
like,
Who
making
funds Hamas?
deals
I
with
forget.
Israel. Saudi is already making deals with Israel. They're already
Nice,
like working with
still got
Israel.
the
All of
tower.
these nations that act as though they
Actually,
give
I'm
a
just
fuck,
gonna
truly,
wait.
believe me,
I'm
they
gonna wait
actually
till I
want
can
to
buy
work
my
with
item.
Israel because they realize there's a lot of money to be made in a partnership. Now, when we act, okay, sure, the Middle East
Hold on, wait.
primarily,
There we
Can I
go.
just
Muslim
clarify on
region,
that? So you think
we
that
wanna
like
have
wait. So you think Iran like is invested in trying to work
Now
with
we're gonna
Israel?
get that
Or
next.
Syria is invested in trying to work with Israel, or even Saudi Arabia is invested in trying to work with Israel? Maybe Saudi Arabia.
Okay, Saudi Arabia and Iran already have issues with each other. Saudi
They
Arabia
do
and
have issues with each
Qatar already
other,
have
but
issues with each other.
I think
Israel
there's
is
a
not
lot of
unique in this scenario, by the way.
Sure, but I feel like somebody in my chat said it earlier, like the Sunni-Shia divide like disappears as soon as you start looking at Israel. It feels like even though they might have issues with each other, I don't think either of them are particularly fans of Israel or Jewish people in general, no?
No, but what have they done about it? In
What have they
recent
done
history,
about
what
it?
have they
I
done
mean,
about it? Absolutely
Multiple
nothing.
wars?
Wait.
They work with Israel other than Iran.
Are you
They
asking
work
about
with Israel.
Well, yeah, I mean, all of those people have to kind of sort of work together to some extent, right? If for no other reason, because they geographically are so proximate to each other. But
Yeah, so why are we acting like as though it's like, oh my god, these people just can't see eye to eye? They, even if it's mutually beneficial, they never work with Israel. That's not the case. They're paying lip service when they act as though. I'm pretty sure they released a statement a few hours ago, Saudi Arabia, pretty much saying, listen, when you occupy a nation, this is what happens. We're not gonna do anything. GG. That's pretty much what they said. They didn't fucking stand there and say, we are in full support of the Palestinian people and we will back them with everything that we can. They're not pulling a fucking America and just pumping them with weapons like they're doing in Ukraine. They're not doing any of that. So when we act like Israel
wait, when you say they,
isolated,
when you say they, who are you referring to? Just Saudi
I'm
Arabia?
talking about
or?
Saudi Arabia. I'm talking about the UAE. I'm talking about Qatar. I'm talking about most of the Gulf nations, the ones that actually have the resources, the ones that actually matter, right? I'm not talking about obviously Jordan or
Countries that
Syria
have-
because
Well, hold on.
those
When you
people
say
themselves
normalized
are
when you
already.
say the
Israel,
ones
by
that
the
have
way,
resources and the one that matter, like Iran has a decent chunk of resources that they funnel to people like Hezbollah and Hamas as well. No, or am I wrong on that?
Sure, but at this point we're looping because I've already stated that if you're pointing towards a one-on-one conflict, that already exists between most of those nations anyways to begin with. Most of those nations already fucking have problems. So when you look at Israel, you want to portray this image as though Israel is the only one that keeps fucking unfairly getting targeted because they're the only Jewish ones, they're the only Jews in the area. No, that's not the case.
Stephen,
Most of these countries have issues together.
Can I break down some historical context here? Like Corantos, by the way, he called me a rat earlier, which is very cute. So there's
Yeah,
a
because
lot
you
of
brought up the
wait,
Hadith
real
when the
quick, real
Hadith
quick,
was
just let
talking
him-
about
There are-
times when there's war and conflict.
Hold on. Okay, let him break his thing down. Go ahead.
there are a lot of misconceptions and there's a lot of misrepresentation about the history, which I quickly want to correct here. The actual Zionists were not religious people, so they didn't say this is our holy land, therefore we should have it. The original Zionists, the father of Zionism, as he is considered, Theodor Herzl, he wrote his pamphlet, The Jewish State, at the end of the 19th century, and his whole idea was we could go to Argentina or to the land of Palestine, as he called it, and his idea was to deal with the Ottoman ruler and kind of make an agreement to settle there as Jewish people and take care of the land and also give something in return. So the idea was never to, just go and take the land away and stuff like that. During the First World War, which, by the way, the Ottoman Empire was involved in because of the Ottoman Empire's relentless aim of conquering the world, about which, of course, the Palestinians never said anything. When the British when the UK defeated the Ottoman Empire, they occupied the region and turned it into a mandate. They could basically do whatever they want with it. And they decided that they should accommodate the Jewish population and work toward a solution. Eventually they gave up because they couldn't find a proper solution to it. And the funny thing is, the entire idea of establishing a nation state like Palestine is not an idea that was dominant in the region at all. Nation states ideas came from the West. The people in the region, the Arabs, they didn't have an ambition toward a state of Palestine until the 1960s, when the whole idea was proposed that there should be a state named Palestine. Because once they did take those lands from Israel, they didn't form a Palestinian state. What actually did happen is that Egypt and Jordan took the lands which they conquered from Israel and annexed them. They made them part of their own lands. So the Arab states never planned on creating an Arab state there. They planned on just absorbing it into the Arab world. The whole idea of establishing a Palestinian state is a very recent idea. And before
Blood,
that,
you're waffling. Fucking wrap it up, buddy.
Before
Israel,
there was no Palestine. So all of that is a giant misconception there.
Did you say wait?
Before,
wait,
no, say that one more
wait,
time. Before Israel, there was.
Go
ahead, Lona.
I don't think Egypt ever annexed Gaza. Is that what you're saying?
But they occupied. I'm not sure if it led to an annexation, but Egypt and Jordan occupied parts of what is nowadays considered Israel or Palestine. And there was no proposal of establishing a Palestinian state.
As far as I know, I think the Jordanians were there were considerations to do it, but yeah, that obviously never happened.
Yeah. But the whole idea of the Palestinian state. I mean, the Palestinian state was declared. When was that? My memory is fading. That was 1960s or something like that.
I'm just saying, I would imagine the argument Karantas is making would probably be not that Palestine was ever a state that got taken over. It was that there were people living there who got moved somewhere else. That's more is that not the claim, Karantas, that you're saying?
Not only
I
moved somewhere
tried
else,
that.
but
That was
governed by
risky and I
people
lost.
that came from elsewhere as well. Because the land was given to them. They were
Support ye,
established as a
ladies and
nation,
gentlemen.
and
It
they
works.
could rule
Support ye.
over the people that
Proof
were
of
there
it.
longer than they've ever been.
Fucking
That
support
in
ye.
itself is ridiculous, first of all. Second of all, when you bring up the fact, look at this, these people are just living up to what their prophet told them. The end times the Muslims want to fucking kill. That is fucking retarded, because if you were to look at the treatment of Jews throughout history, they were treated the best in Muslim nations. That is absolutely 100% factual, and you can't even argue against it. And this is excluding the Holocaust, excluding the Germans and their treatment of the Jews. So when you sit there and act as though this is just them fucking trying to go out of their way to kill Jews, it's absolutely false.
Hold on, wait a second. When you say
Those same
wait,
Palestinian Jews want to
real
liberate
quick, hold
and
on, wait, real
establish
quick.
a Palestinian.
When you say that Israelite, or not Israel, sorry, when you say the Jewish people were treated well in other Arab nations, wasn't it the case when you look at the diaspora and everything? Wasn't it the case that Jewish people largely didn't feel like they were being treated well in other nations, and that was part of the reason why they left so many Middle Eastern countries? Are you saying that that's not true, or?
The only reason that they left
Damn.
is because Israel was
I fucked up.
established, and they looked to themselves, they looked towards it as their home, because they were like, finally we have a place, so let's just move there. That is the main reason why they moved, as opposed to the European Jews that had to fucking get out of there because they were fucking being killed left, right, and center, mistreated. That is absolutely false. Bro, I'm telling you.
Do you like the
if
sound
were to
effects?
look at the history of Jews in North Africa, in the Middle East, it is a million times better than the history that they've had in Europe and in Christian nations. So, Apostate Prophet, I ask you, why peddle the bullshit and act as though Muslim
what you're basically
of Jews?
What you're basically arguing here is that the Jews were treated well in the Muslim world because they were treated worse in the Christian world. Which
Oh
is,
my
just
God.
It's a horrible fallacy. It doesn't
No,
take away from the fact
that's not
that
my argument.
it doesn't take away from the fact that Jews.
It's also
did not
retarded and
do it.
irrelevant to the point we're actually discussing now, and he
Yes,
brings it
yeah.
up all the time. So
No, it
let's just
isn't.
move on.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Yes,
Because
it
he fucking
is.
brought up the fact that these people just want to eliminate Jews, and they will never even have a nation that has Jews.
God damn
When
it.
there's
I was
Palestinian Jews
talking
today.
about Hamas. I was
Have
talking
you
about
read the Hamas charter? It was literally in the charter for like 30
Yes.
years.
Yes. That's
So
what
you're
I was
wait. So you guys are acting as though Hamas don't sit and try to come to resolution with Israel
Yeah,
itself.
I'm
with
saying
Jews
that
themselves.
explicitly.
Well, to be
That's
fair,
absolutely
hold on,
garbage,
hold on.
because
Wait,
you
wait,
guys-
wait, 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 wait. To be fair, we all here agree. If you want to argue that Hamas is trying to work toward things, there's a pretty big burden of proof on your side, because I'm pretty sure Hamas's like explicit mission statement is the elimination of Israel, right? The state of Israel.
Still, yes.
Like the resolution they seek would be
So
the
does
genocide.
Palestinian liberation? Let me ask you guys this.
Wait, no,
Let me
wait,
ask you
wait,
this
wait,
then.
wait, no, wait. You
Does
got
Palestinian
engage with your
does it
answer
start
that.
and end with
Wait,
Hamas?
hello?
Does it start and
Wait,
end with
Pivoting
Hamas?
away from his retarded point.
Wait,
again.
yeah, wait,
Because
hold
you
on.
know what it is irrelevant.
Can you just
it's
wait,
irrelevant because
we can move on to the next point, but can you just acknowledge that first, so we all agree that that was Hamas's essential mission statement, and probably remains to this day that mission statement, that they want to destroy Israel. Do we agree with that or no?
they want to, they want to destroy Israel, but they don't want to go out of their way and fucking genocide every single Jew they find.
What do you think the destruction of
Yeah,
Israel
we could agree on
entails?
that. We could agree on that. No,
They did want to
first of all,
genocide the
we're
Jews
acting
before,
as though
though.
there aren't Christian
Them
Israelis.
not wanting to genocide the
we
Jews
act
is
as though
new.
there's no Christian Israelis and even Muslim Israelis. You know, Israel doesn't just mean you gotta be a Jew to be an Israeli, right? Now you're confusing both things. There's a difference between a Jew and an Israeli. They're not the same thing.
They want to destroy Israel, but not genocide the entire population. But and that's okay with you. Why do you have a problem with Israel? Simply possibly wanting to.
What
take
the
over entire,
fuck just
region
happened?
Without genociding the whole population, although that is not the goal. But why
Okay,
would that be a
well,
problem?
what was your problem with apartheid in South Africa? The same
No,
thing.
oh my
The
God.
answer
I'm
that you come up
asking
with,
you about-
that is the
I'm asking
same
you about
fucking answer.
yours,
There you go.
Okay,
I'm
hold on,
asking
wait,
about
wait,
yours,
chill.
Ted.
Okay,
Come
hold on. Okay, Q. Stay on topic and work around these questions. I feel like every time this issue comes up, you make the most, like, we just run to all these other pivots and comparisons or whatever. Just like, yeah, focus on this one thing. Jesus, alright.
Okay, Apostate Prophet. Ask me the question again. Go ahead. I'll answer 100%. Go ahead. Ask it.
Okay, so you
I'm not gonna
say
dodge.
that.
Just ask your question.
Okay, so you say that that Hamas has a stated goal to destroy Israel, but you are okay with it because they don't have the stated goal to genocide the entire Jewish population, although they did have such a goal in the past. So what is the problem then with a hypothetical situation where Israel wants to destroy all
Palestine.
of Palestine without getting rid of the entire population?
They've already succeeded in already taking over the entire land and establishing Israel. They control the Palestinians.
So what's
The only reason why Palestinians haven't been eliminated is because Israel just doesn't want to do it. It's not that they're incapable; they are capable, and that is the problem. Number one. Number two, the fact that the issue with it is the fact that they came into a land that wasn't theirs, established their laws, and now the original people that lived in the land, and I'm not even talking about establishing a nation because you keep going to that argument. I'm talking about the people that have lived there for generations, not lived there 3,000 years ago and then fucked off all over the world and then came back. No, the people that have been living there consistently now are being told how to live and what to do and being governed by people that came in fucking like 2 seconds ago, pretty much. That's my issue with it. Right now, if you want to establish, here's the thing, and let me know if you have a problem with this. We establish a Palestinian state. All these Israelis, I guess they'll be called Palestinians, right? All these Israelis,
Hold on.
Jews.
Please stop linking the Biden shit. I don't care. He's gonna go on. He's gonna say we support Israel. We condemn these attacks. I don't know why. If you want to go watch it, watch it. There's literally nothing of interest to watch it. I super don't care. It's the least. I'd be more likely to go and fucking jerk off on stream than watch Biden talk about Israel Palestine. That's all he's gonna say. Okay. If he says anything surprising, let me know. But there's gonna be nothing surprising in this state.
That would be a genocide.
What's the general attitude that Israelis exhibit towards Palestinians?
I can
Well,
actually
yeah,
agree
you
But
with
say
we
that.
more
act
than
like
they
they
live
don't
together.
fucking go and murder
God
children.
damn it.
We act as though human rights watch groups don't already have fucking a bunch of statements condemning Israel and condemning the way that they treat Palestinians. But nobody gives a you know what their punishment is? The most financial aid since 1971 from the United States to any other nation in the world. That's what Israel gets. Israel doesn't get punished for any of their human rights crimes. None of them.
What
But
about
when we see
aid to
fucking
every country
Saudi
around
Arabia or
Israel?
Afghanistan
All
or
of
any
those Arab
these
nations around Israel get more aid than Israel when you put
Yeah.
them together.
Since 1971, the nation that has received the most financial aid from the
You're
United
not
States of
engaging
America
with the point I
is
made
Israel.
whatsoever.
Yeah, if you
What's
added
your point? No,
everybody
your
else's
point's retarded.
foreign
Your
aid-
point has no legs.
My point is that the rest of those nations around Israel also receive aid, and put together they receive far more aid than Israel.
What
Since-
country doesn't get US
Oh,
aid?
For
put together.
decades.
Let
Yes.
me take 10 nations, put them together. At that point, if they were paying more financial aid than 10
Sure,
nations
let's
combined,
just put
it would
3
fucking be
together.
insane.
Egypt, Jordan,
That's a fucking retarded
and
point. Keep moving, buddy.
Lebanon.
Just to question Apostate, like, so Karantas is actually given his position, right? He wants it all to become Palestine. What do you want? What do you think should happen?
I don't actually, to be very honest, I don't have a concrete end solution and idea in mind. All I'm looking at
Okay.
is the current conflict that is going on and how it unfolds on both sides. I'm not sure what would be the best solution here. honestly.
If peace could come from Toronto's solution, now, again, every consideration that could be given to what could happen, but let's say that peace would be the outcome, that Palestine would be Palestine, Israelis would be allowed to remain there, only land that can be traced back to Palestinian citizens that are stolen from gets returned, but we have peace in the Middle East, and this conflict goes away, and Israelis are not displaced or harassed, and they are all equal citizens. Would you support that solution? 'Cause that sounds like what Toronto's wants.
I think that would be a very that would be a fantasy, like a utopia. I don't
Yeah,
think
that
it
literally
never
I don't
happen.
think could happen.
That was the question.
Just
whether-
fucking
I don't
engage
think
with it.
it could,
Just
would
answer
you?
the dude's question.
Well, that's the funny thing. I mean, it's an absurd question. It's like a question about something that, in my opinion,
You
is
see that? You
impossible.
see that? You see that
No,
garbage?
so
Buddy,
here's
it's
the thing,
very simple.
I
Deal
don't
with the
support-
hypothetical.
I don't
I,
support.
no, okay.
the
I say
solution,
I
but
have
it is a
hypothetical.
hypothetical
Yes.
where you have to suspend a little bit of reality on some things.
Of course.
say
No,
whether
I
or
would
not-
support a world where everybody treats each other respectfully. Nobody ever engages in violence. Nobody lies. Everybody speaks the truth, and all of that. So a utopia, yes, I would totally support.
No, stop, because
Great man.
you're being flippant when you say utopia. I'm asking you if Israel no longer exists as a state, but the Israeli people are good, healthy, fine, and happy, as far as having land, having a place to live, having civil rights and all that stuff. I'm saying, but the state of Israel doesn't exist. Would you support that?
Everybody would be fine with that. It just doesn't it's not possible.
As said, it is absurd. I would be okay with it.
Holy shit, this
But
guy
I-
can't
but I
say
don't-
yes. You hate Muslims that much? Just say
I just-
fucking yes or no.
I just
Holy
said
fuck.
it. I just said it, Corantos. I would be
Okay,
okay.
I
with
asked
it.
again because you just said I would like a world where that didn't exist, but you didn't actually say yes, I would support that. But now you are
Okay,
saying
no,
that.
no. I'm saying yeah, I would be okay with it. I just don't believe that is possible.
Okay, let's continue, Chronicles.
Thank you. Thank God we don't live in a world where what you believe and what you don't believe is reality. Nigga, that wasn't the question, number one. Number two, none of you guys have spoken about the shit that Israel commits on a fucking daily basis. Nobody has brought it up. Nobody. Why the fuck am I the only person that's
muted.
what do you
You're
mean?
not the only person, bro. Every time and the IDF is doing shit in East Jerusalem, every time there's some Al-Aqsa drama, we talk about the Sheikh Jarrah stuff. Literally every motherfucker, maybe in your part of the world. Actually, I don't even believe it. I bet in your part of the world, you guys talk about this shit all the time. In left-leaning circles, people talk about this shit all the time. Younger populist Republicans talk about this shit all the time. Everybody talks about the bad shit that Israel does. I don't know what corner of the internet doesn't talk about right now, except for maybe older, politically active people in the United States that all love Israel. Like the idea that nobody talks about it is fucking retarded. That's not true.
Sneeko talks about it.
Okay. And what's done about it? No,
What do
what's
you
done
mean,
about it?
what's
No.
done about it? I haven't gone
Blue
over to
hair.
Israel to fight.
What's done about it? What's done about their fucking human rights crime? What's done about it?
What should be done?
I mean, do you want to take their country license
Who the
away
fuck just
for
asked
that?
that? You retard! Shut up, nigga. No.
No.
Let me ask you. That's
What do you think should be done?
what's done about that? You say it's covered extensively. What's done about it then?
Well, I mean, you can.
Nothing.
Okay.
That's the fucking.
Yeah, but dude, tons
What do you
of
want them to do?
abuses
What do
are
you- what do
covered.
you
No,
think-
Tons of
you
countries
you
do that
pussy.
shit.
You took an hour to reply. Say
Hold on,
something.
I'm not
go.
taking an hour to reply. Stop shouting at me, you retarded. Holy shit. I understand that you're super bought into this, but I don't know why you even care so much. Your family is so f***ing rich, and your life is so f***ing nice. You basically live like a Jew in Somalia anyway, so I don't know where the fuck the attitude is coming from. Number one, okay? Number two, in terms of what should be done about it, I don't know. We have summits, we did fucking Camp David, we did fucking all, whatever accords, everybody goes and talks to people, tries to can sort the shit out, but it's hard to say this is exactly what should be done because nobody knows. My understanding is at the very least we got Israel to pull their shit out of the Gaza Strip, right? We pulled all the settlements out there. Now, obviously, it's not a good thing right now. People chastise them about what's going on in the West Bank. That's not a good thing, but I mean, what do you want to do? What do you think should be done? Tell us if you've got the solution for it.
Your first fucking no. I just want to. I'll tell you my solution, which is way better than your solution, which is I don't know. Maybe we should tell them to not do what the they're doing. Number one, pull out of all the fucking land that isn't owned by you and it's owned by Palestinians. Stop stealing their
Okay,
land.
I'm muting you. I'm
Okay,
asking
so
you
you're
a
just
very-
gonna
wait,
give
no,
that
wait, stop,
back?
hold on, wait,
Oh, you
wait,
want
wait,
to get
wait,
rid of
wait, wait,
Israel?
wait. The question wasn't what should Israel do. The question is what should the rest of the world do about Israel. I don't know why you're saying what Israel should do. Okay, I'm unmuting you. Answer that question because you said what should we do?
Okay,
Tell me
okay,
what
thank
should
you.
the
Can I
rest of
answer?
the world
Can I
do?
answer?
Not Israel. Go.
Can I answer? Can I
Go ahead.
answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Holy fucking shit. Let me answer, buddy. What did the rest of the world do when Russia invaded Ukraine? What did they do?
Can you just answer the question?
Do the exact same shit that they did with Russia.
You want to give guns
They
to
fucking
Hamas?
handicapped the out of Russia to the point that they turned to fucking North Korea, and now they're fucking trying to negotiate arms deals with fucking North Korea. That's how desperate they fucking got. But instead of engaging with them and making deals with them and giving them billions of dollars in financial aid, and that's on top of what you give them for their fucking weapons, for their fucking cybersecurity, for their fucking spyware programs. How about we fucking do that? Is it like that's basic? That's better than what you just said, which is I don't know.
So do you
it's
think,
not like
what if we,
it's
so
not like my
what if we
solution is the
funded-
greatest
what
solution
if we,
out there.
What if we funded all the Palestinian extremist organizations, we did all that shit, and then they go in and they blow up Israel, and then they take over it, and then they basically have Jews living in a worse situation than even the Palestinians live now. Do you think that'd be preferential to where we are now?
Okay, and let's first of all state the fact that this is a hypothetical world that you drew up because
No,
you
it's
took
not
the
hypo-
assumption that
you
the Jews
literally
would be
said that
living in
we-
a worse condition.
No,
They
hold
wouldn't
on.
be. They
Stop.
wouldn't be.
Stop.
Hey, when I
Wait,
was
wait,
Telling
wait,
me
making
Hamas would
hypothetical, you
treat
weren't-
the
you were
Jewish
making a
people
fuss.
with like fairness?
I 100. First of all, prior to Israel even being established, Jews lived in harmony. They lived well in Palestine. They lived well under the Ottomans. They lived well with
Forget the
Muslims.
Ottomans.
He's going
Forget
back
the
to this
Ottomans. Forget
retarded
the
point
Ottomans.
again.
I'm talking
Jesus
about
Christ.
Hamas. I'm talking about the Taliban.
It's
I'm
not-
talking
no,
about
the fuck I
extremist
is-
organizations. Would they treat Jewish people with fairness? Would an extremist terror
Can you just-
organization do that?
Can you just answer Destiny's question, please?
I don't think it's an insane statement to make to say that extremist organizations probably wouldn't, not probably, most definitely wouldn't treat Jewish people with fairness. But we act, and again, I'll repeat my point because Jay fucking Stillick and Apostate Prophet seem to be retarded enough to not fucking understand what I'm saying. The Palestinian liberation movement does not start and does not fucking end with Hamas. We act as though Palestine, all of Palestine and Palestinians are under Hamas, and whatever they say
that's
is
very
law,
nice.
and they
That's
all
very
think the
nice.
same. Destiny himself literally just said that that's not the case.
That's
Wait,
very nice,
I
but
said
can you
that's
answer
not the
Destiny's-
That's
can you
what I'm
answer
trying
his
to tell
question? Can you answer Steven's question?
What was this
The
question?
question was, assuming we fund all of the military uprisings and everything in Israel, or in Palestine, and then the Palestinians fight against the Israelis, they take the land back, and then Jewish people are subjected to worse conditions than Palestinians are now, would that be preferable to the current arrangement?
Would it be preferable to substitute Palestinian suffering with Jewish
Yes
suffering?
or no?
I said if it was
It's
worse
a,
than... I
it's a
said if it
shit
was
situation
worse.
with a situation, but I'd rather take that under a Palestinian state rather than an Israeli one. That's what I'd do.
Thank
Because
you,
it's a
thank
Palestinian
you.
state, not because
There you
Jews are
go.
suffering.
Okay.
There
That's
you
it.
go.
No, yeah, I'm honest. Because at least it's
There
a
you go.
Palestinian state. At least it's a Palestinian state, but
So you
that's
don't really
under the
care about
assumption
the suffering
I'm
of
actually
anybody. You just care about what name tag
engaged
is on the
in
country.
There you go.
No.
That's what
No,
you just
no,
said.
no,
you just
no.
said I don't
I'm
care what
dealing with
happens
the-
about the suffering.
I'm
I'll
dealing
just
with
call
the
it Palestine
fucking
instead of
hypothetical because the
Israel.
hypothetical itself. No,
And you should just say no.
Hear me out. Hear me out. What I'm telling you is, under this hypothetical, which I'm engaging with, it's either a yes or a no. I said yes. What would you have said no? Because again, it's literally the same scenario, but
Fucking
again,
lost
you just
the
changed
game
the
at
state
the
from Israel to
end.
Palestine. That's
Such
it.
bullshit.
So obviously, I'll say yes. Obviously, but in a fucking actual in the real world, that wouldn't be the case. I believe it wouldn't be the case. I believe that Jews have the exact same rights that Muslims have.
If you
That's
have
what
a
I
preference-
believe.
If you have a
That's why
preference,
I'm fighting
I mean,
for this.
If you have a preference, then that means that your problem is not with the suffering of human beings. Your problem is with the suffering of Palestinians alone, and you would rather prefer
No, you
Palestinians
fucking
rule
idiot. I'm engaging
and
with the
that they do.
goddamn hypothetical.
I know,
I'm
but what
engaging
you're
with the
saying is,
hypothetical.
I
Yes or
know, but
no?
if you prefer one
That's
over
it.
the other, and you would say, of course, in such a situation, I would pick Palestinian rule, and that the Israelis suffer because the Palestinians suffer right now, then that means you prefer such a state. That means you don't have a problem with suffering
No,
altogether.
because
You have a
I
problem with the fact that
engage with the
Palestinians are
hypothetical
suffering.
doesn't mean my preference would lay there.
Well, that's what it sounds
No,
like.
that isn't. If somebody's telling me fucking chop off your leg or chop off your arm, I don't have a preference in which. Just because I said, take off the arm doesn't mean, you know what, I prefer you chop off my arm. No, it means you put me in a shit fucking situation, I'll pick the one that like seems to me like the lesser one. It doesn't mean that it's not evil. I disagree with it, but it's the fucking hypothetical and I engage with it. And the fact that none of you could grasp this is fucking retarded.
That's a horribly wrong
Like, I just engage with hypothetical, that's about it.
That's a false comparison. So it's quite ironic that you call people retarded.
All right. Do
The
we have
hypothetical was
okay,
false
hold
in
on, wait,
itself
I
when
don't
it
wanna...
fucking assumed that Jews would suffer anyways.
Okay. Are we good here? Do we have any? I feel like we're...
Okay, all right. I just want to quickly make one final point before I leave, and then I can just let you deal with that shit. So he keeps comparing the treatment of the actions of Israel to how Russia invades Ukraine. The two things are completely different, considering that one is a nation that comes into existence out of a void, and the other is two nations existing while one claims that the other shouldn't exist, literally, and then invades that nation. So you are making, again, a completely wrong comparison here. You can't compare these two things. They are entirely different. But I guess, I don't know, if you want to go into this would be a very long discussion again.
Wait, I was waiting for you to bring up another hadith out of context too. What, you're gonna end it on that?
You think that is out of context? You
That's
think
it?
the hadith which says that the Muslims will fight the Jews and kill them before the last hour, until the last of them, hides
At
behind a
times
stone in a
of
tree?
war, you
think
fucking
that is-
idiot. At times of war, that's the context you are missing, you fucking idiot. You made it seem like Muslims should go out of their ways to find fucking Jews.
I never
You
said
fucking
that.
idiot. It's at times of war. And yeah,
never
no
said
shit. By the way, surprise, Snowflake. People die in wars. You know, they get killed, right? There you go. That's the fucking context. You act as though
Here's
Muslims
the
are
issue.
hoarded to go
Here's the
out of their
issue.
way to fucking kill Jews, which isn't the case.
If a religious text says the hour will not come until you fight and you will totally kill this other group, and you say, well, that's okay because it's talking about a state of war. What do you think? What kind of an excuse?
It's talking about a state of war and it's talking about the end times. Two
Do you
things.
think?
Two things.
Okay, but your religious group is
Okay.
basically groomed for centuries, for millennia, into believing that that there
Groom,
is
you
no
fucking
that there is no.
inbred.
Okay, I'm getting on this. Okay, I just want to read this article. Maybe we get more information. Just curious what Al Jazeera reports on this. Why the Palestinian group Hamas launched an attack on Israel, all to know. Dozens killed, hundreds injured after Hamas sends rockets, fighters to Israel, just started bombing Gaza. Israel and Hamas seem to be on the brink of another conflict after a surprise attack on Saturday involving aerial, sea, and ground operations initiated by the Palestinian group from the Gaza Strip. Israel responded with a heavy bombardment of the blockaded coastal enclave. Here is what to know. And there's a Jewish post we can read after this. So, please stop. Is anti-Israel guys? Nobody is going to be objective on the situation. I'm reading one of each. If you don't like it, just leave. Please just leave. There are plenty of other streamers that will cover this in exactly the way that you want. Okay, pick a side. Watch a streamer that supports your side, and just agree with everything they say. Okay.
There you
That's what you want,
go.
go do that. Please.
There
don't
you
care.
go. That's what you gotta do. Pick a side. It's like a
Israel
faction.
and Hamas seem to be on the brink of another
Pick
conflict.
your
after a
side,
surprise attack on
always.
Saturday involving air. We are initiated by the Muslim group from the Gaza Strip. Israel responded with a heavy bombardment of the blockaded coastal enclave. The Palestinian armed group Hamas has launched Operation Al-Aqsa Flood against Israel, the most serious escalation since Israel and Hamas fought an 11-day war in 2021. Hamas said it had fired 5,000 rockets, while Israel confirmed that the group's fighters had entered its territory. Daniel Hagari, an Israeli army spokesman, said that the group attacked from land, sea, and air. The first round of rockets was fired at 6:30 a.m. local time. The Israeli army also said it launched Operation Iron Swords against the Hamas group in the Gaza Strip. The early morning attacks occurred on Simchat Torah, a holiday which falls towards the conclusion of the week-long Jewish festival known as Sukkot, or the Feast of Tabernacles. Where did the attacks take place? The rockets were fired as far north as Tel Aviv. Hamas has also sent fighters into southern Israel. Israeli media said that the gunmen had opened fire on passerbys in the town of Sderot. I forgot, we learned how to pronounce it earlier, but Sderot? I think it's Sderot. And footage circulating on social media appeared to show clashes in city streets as well as gunmen and jeeps roaming the countryside. One report claimed Hamas fighters had taken control of multiple Israeli civilian population centers where residents were begging for help from the government. The Israeli army says dozens of fighter jets were carrying out attacks on Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip. Currently, the gun battles are taking place in and around the towns of Kfar Aza, Sderot, Sufa, Nahal Oz, Magan, Be'eri, and the Reem military base, the Times of Israel reported. Israel-Palestine escalation. Israel launched air raids on Gaza, where witnesses reported heavy explosions after the Palestinian armed group Hamas fired thousands of rockets and sent fighters into Israel on Saturday morning in a large-scale attack. How many casualties in Israel and Palestine? Medical sources in Gaza said at least 198 Palestinians were killed and more than 1,000 wounded. Israeli health officials said at least 100 Israelis have been killed and 750 wounded in Hamas attacks. Why did Hamas attack Israel? Hamas spokesperson Khalid Kudomi has told Al Jazeera that the group's military operation is in response to all of the atrocities the Palestinians have faced over the decades. We want the international community to stop atrocities in Gaza against Palestinian people, our holy sites like Al-Aqsa. All these things are the reason behind starting the battle, he said. This is the day of the greatest battle to end the last occupation on earth, Mohammed Daif, the Hamas military commander said, adding that 5,000 rockets were launched. Everyone who has a gun should take it out. The time has come, Daif said, according to reports. Hamas called on the resistance fighters in the West Bank, as well as our Arab and Islamic nations, to join the battle in a statement posted on Telegram. Israel-Palestine conflict. The besieged Gaza Strip. Since 2008, Israel has waged 4 wars in the Palestinian territory, killing thousands of people, mostly civilians. The Gaza Strip has a population of 2.2 million people and is one of the most densely populated areas in the world. Pretty sure these sides are kind of waging war with each other, but okay. What is the Israeli government saying? The Israeli army warned Israelis who live near Gaza to stay in their homes or head to shelters. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his country is in a war it will win. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said Israel will win this war. Hamas, he said, has made the grave mistake this morning and launched a war against the state of Israel. What is the latest on the ground? Israeli media reported gun battles between bands of Palestinian fighters and security forces in towns in southern Israel. Israel's police chief said that there were 21 active scenes in southern Israel. Al Jazeera's Walid al-Amari, bureau chief in Ramallah, says Israeli forces surrounded a house in the Ofakim settlement and negotiations are underway with Palestinian fighters who are allegedly holding hostages. The Israeli Ministry of Education says all kindergartens and schools will remain closed across the county on Sunday, expanding a previously announced decision. Israeli Energy Minister Israel Katz says he had ordered the state-run electricity company to halt supply to the blockaded enclave. All the latest updates and blah, blah, blah. What are the international reactions so far? The Czech government has condemned Hamas for launching terrorist attacks on Prague's traditional ally Israel. The European Union's foreign chief, Joseph Borrell, expressed solidarity with Israel. The French Foreign Ministry said France condemned the terrorist attacks underway against Israel and its population, and that France expressed its full solidarity with Israel. The UK unequivocally condemns a surprise attack by Palestinian group Hamas on Israel on Saturday. Foreign Secretary James Cleverly said, Egypt warned of grave consequences from an escalation in a statement from the Foreign Ministry carried by the state news agency on Saturday. It called for exercising maximum restraint and avoiding exposing civilians to further danger. Lebanese group Hezbollah issued a statement on Saturday saying it was closely following the situation in Gaza and was in direct contact with the leadership of the Palestinian resistance. An advisor to Supreme Leader Ali Husseini Khamenei, said Iran supported the Palestinians' attack. The semi-official ISNA news site reported. This is showing the difference between Palestinian deaths and Israeli deaths. From 2008 to 2023. I wonder why they stop in 2008 and they don't do 2000 to 2023, or why they don't go back earlier. But they specifically, I no, dude. All right. A massive unprovoked attack on Israel analysis. This is from the Jerusalem Post. This is an unprecedented attack by Hamas and other terrorists in Gaza, the likes of which has not been seen since the group came to power in the Strip. Hamas launched a massive surprise attack on Israel shortly after 6 a.m. Saturday. Sirens wailed throughout southern Israel, and rocket fire could be seen as far away as Jerusalem. An attack on this scale by Hamas and other terrorists in Gaza, combining rocket attacks and armed infiltrators, has not been seen since the Islamic organization seized exclusive power in the Strip in 2007. The IDF said that the Hamas terrorist organization has begun a massive shooting of rockets from the Gaza Strip into Israeli territory, and terrorists infiltrated into Israeli territory in a number of different locations. The IDF instructed that civilians in the southern and central areas are required to stay next to shelters in the area surrounding the Gaza Strip inside shelters. The Hamas terrorist organization is the sovereign in the Gaza Strip and is responsible for this attack. Will face the consequences and responsibility for these events, a spokesperson said. Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant approved the call-up of reserve soldiers in accordance with the IDF's requirements. Chief of the General Staff, Lieutenant General Herzl Halavi, has conducted a situational assessment. Israel said Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in a state of war and called a meeting of his security cabinet. Israel's in a state of war. How did we get here? In the past, conflicts with Gaza often went through stages with a slow buildup of tensions. Back in 2008, before Operation Cast Lead, rocket fire from Gaza increased. In many operations, Israel dictated the tempo of the conflict, launching strikes in Gaza in 2012 or 2019 with Operations Pillar of Cloud and Black Belt. In 2014, the conflict also began with tensions in the West Bank after the kidnapping and murder of 3 Israelis. The 10-day conflict in 2021 also began with tensions in Jerusalem. The attacks this morning were unprecedented in their size and their extent, but not in their excuse. Alleged violations by Israelis of the sanctity of Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque on the Temple Mount or Haram al-Sharif. Hamas has tried infiltrations before, but the Gaza border fence and security have generally prevented those attempts. Hamas has also tried to use riots as cover for threats. However, even though Hamas instigated some riots this past month, there was no evidence that this was a slow drumbeat towards a wider war. Overall, the Iranian-backed proxies, such as Palestinian Islamic Jihad and Hezbollah, have been relatively quiet in recent days. This was a lull before the storm. Now the storm is broken. While it remains to be seen how this attack will continue to unfold and what Israel's overall response will be, it is clear that Hamas and other terror groups in Gaza have sought to dictate the tempo of the conflict to wrest that decision from Israel. In a sense, this could be seen as an attempt by the terrorists to replay the Yom Kippur War, which included a surprise attack on Israel 50 years ago this week and also on a Sabbath day and a religious holiday. But unlike the two-front attack by Egypt and Syria in 1973, the terrorists do not have warplanes or conventional force, and Israel is in a much stronger position today. However, Iran backs the terrorists in Gaza, and it is possible that the attack could be a curtain raiser for other moves by Iran and its network of terrorist proxies in the region. The attempt by Hamas to fire rockets at Jerusalem also makes this aggression unique. While Hamas and other terrorists in Gaza have targeted Jerusalem in the past, this level of fire is a new type of tactic. In the 2021 war, the conflict began when Hamas fired a salvo of rockets toward Jerusalem. However, in general, the terrorist groups have not targeted Jerusalem during most rounds of fighting, they have preferred instead to fire towards Tel Aviv or areas south of Tel Aviv, such as Rishon Lezion or Ashkelon. The shift towards Jerusalem clearly represents a decision by the terrorist leaders backed by Iran to target the city. Another tactic that the terrorist groups have borrowed from the 2021 war is to launch large salvos of rockets. Over the years, the military infrastructure in Gaza has increased to the point that groups have been able to fire more than 100 rockets and salvos over a very short period of time. The Iranian effort to confront Israel in recent years has also shifted. It has sought to unify various fronts against Israel by increasing support for Palestinian Islamic Jihad in the West Bank and also creating tensions in Lebanon and Syria. The attack on Israel conjures up memories of other infiltration attempts, such as the effort Hamas put into building tunnels before 2014, and the attack that resulted in the kidnapping of Gilad Shalit in June 2006. The abduction of Shalit from a military post took place on the eve of a similar Hezbollah attack from Lebanon. In 2014, Hamas also attempted a seaborne commando raid near Kibbutz Zakim, east of Gaza. However, the Hamas attacks on Saturday was far more intense, despite more conflicts with Israel over the years, and Israel's increased investment in security on the border using new technology. Hamas was able to launch a massive surprise attack, once again on a country celebrating one of its most significant religious festivals. Cute. There you go. All right, I love you guys. I'm gonna pack my shit and make sure I have everything I need. I'll probably be flying all day tomorrow, I think, and then maybe the next day I'll be streaming, hopefully. Stay safe. I love you guys. This is kind of sad. I don't know if this is true or not. I don't even want to repeat this. I don't. Supposedly, this is like an elderly, like dementia-ridden Jewish woman who like got captured by Hamas soldiers. I don't know if anybody's like confirmed if that's true or not. But I don't know if it's true or not. But if so, yikes. You have no actual reason to say there's a genuine concern. No, you have no reason to say. You have no
Infrastructure is a communist buzzword, and Trump had the economy going until the communists.
Trump came in as a business deal-making guy. That was his whole point, okay? Now, you might think that the Republicans have a different agenda than him or whatever, but he was a Republican president. The Republican lawmakers largely backed him, at least publicly. If he can't get a government to work for him when he owns every single corner of that government, what the kind of worthless businessman is he? How is he supposed to do anything?
Well, you well know that we know that we were respected around the world under Trump. Trump had the respect of the people.
Hi, I'm Cam. I post on TikTok. I, of course, talk about political issues, just like I'm sure everybody else in here does. I'm a conservative,
Oh, wait, do I
and
know
I'm
this
looking
guy?
forward to the discussion.
Wonderful. Next is going to be, sadly, the League streamer, Stephen Bonnell.
Hey guys, what's up? You probably know me better online as Yorha Space Destiny. I'm an 80 carry main bot lane. I'll be going for Grand Masters this season. Okay, so make sure you watch my streams. I will definitely be getting to Grand Masters, and yeah, it's gonna be a great ride there.
It sure will. Now, we're gonna throw it over to Hake.
Hey guys, I'm James Hake. I host the Hake Report Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 Pacific time. I'm an expert, and I read Hake News over on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, which is a morning show. I'm on his network. And I produce Church with Jesse Lee Peterson at his nonprofit organization, Bond. And I'm happy to be on Hippy Dippy once again.
Happy to have you back, Hake. And hopefully I can come on your program next week.
Yes, that would be fun.
Throwing it now over to I Am Really Important.
Awesome, Dylan. Thanks for having me. I go by I'm Really Important. I follow electoral politics. We keep a close eye on the House and the Senate, and I'm excited to be here. Should be a lot of fun.
Wonderful. And thank you for making the last-minute replacement. Our surprise guest sadly couldn't make it due to personal troubles, and so IRI, of course, is the best surprise we could have wished for.
Wait, who was the surprise guest?
I can't tell you. It's a surprise.
Well, but they couldn't make it, so.
Well, now it'll be a surprise for another day.
I know who they were, and they lied about the personal issues. I just didn't want to be in your shit-ass fucking show.
Yeah, I'm sure, Destiny. But you came here because you're a shit-ass fucking streamer. Now I'm gonna throw over to Lecture Fan.
Hey, what's up? I'm Lecture Fan. I'm a conservative. I've been streaming politics on Twitch since 2015. I'm an attorney in the day. I stream at night every evening, except Thursday nights. Thursday night's family night. And then I do gaming on the weekends. So stoked for 2022. Can't wait for the Republicans to take back Congress and put an end to the Biden administration. Let's go. Thanks for having me, Dylan.
Happy to have you here, Lecture Fan. Now I'm gonna throw it over to Merrick.
Hey, I'm Merrick DeVille. I am a leftist, allegedly a YouTuber and a streamer. That's very rare nowadays. I cover like sex work, feminism, drug issues, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Happy to have you here, Merrick. Now we're gonna throw it over to a Hippy Dippy Recruitment Show alum of our developmental brand, the Paradigm Shift. How you going? How's it doing, man? You are muted.
I am muted. I did the streamer thing. Yay, my first time, and I did the streamer thing.
Oh man, it's all the talkers. Oh boy.
I am a leftist. I just believe that values belong to the people, and I try to discuss that as much as I can on my show every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, or whenever my depression does not kick in. and I'm happy to be here.
Happy to have you here. Now we're gonna throw it over to T-Jump.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on. I'm T-Jump. I do debates with professors and philosophers on reasons to believe in a God, pretty much. And occasionally talk to political topics. Thanks for having me on.
Happy to have you on, and I'm finally happy I'm getting your name correct. Okay, so let's go into some of the rules of the program. The first rule, of course, is that when I'm talking, no one else is talking. I am not talking to make political points. I will merely be talking in order to moderate. And so I would ask you, if you cannot hear me right now, to turn up my volume up in Discord, and try to recognize my voice among everyone else, because I will mute you if you continue to talk while I am talking, while I attempt to moderate. The next rule is we will not be breaking any Twitch terms of service. Many of us are streaming on the Twitch platform, and they have some stricter terms of service, for instance, than YouTube does. And I would ask you to do your best to follow those terms of service. I would also ask you not to make attacks on people's inalienable characteristics. That includes things like gender and race. We're not going to be doing those types of attacks. You can go ham on their ideas, okay? You can insult people's intelligence. But I would also say that, I will say though, that honey gets more flies than vinegar. Now, I will also say that when it comes to the show, pronouns, we do respect them. If you don't want to do that on your own time, that's your business, but here we do.
Does that include neopronouns?
Yes, Destiny. Yes, Destiny, that does.
Yeah, quick follow-up questions. Can we refuse to say pronouns if we just use the person's name instead?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Are we respecting neo names?
Of course, Destiny. Okay.
I should just interrupt. Dylan, can I even wear this on Twitch? Is this okay?
It's fine. Just don't shake your head too much.
I promise you it's okay. I promise you.
Okay, alright.
Put it like a hot tub in the background and you're A-okay. You can wear anything on this site, alright?
Wonderful. Okay. God, I don't understand neopronouns. I need to figure out what the fuck that is. Anyway, so let's move on. Is there any rules that I forgot? I don't believe so. Is there anything that needs to be discussed, any rule you don't understand, or anything you need me to clarify?
Yeah, what do we do if you say to stop talking?
Stop talking.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful. Okay, so now we're going to go into the first topic. And it is a topic that, of course, it is the anniversary of 1 year ago and 1 day. January 6th occurred, which was an event that happened at the Capitol. I won't put any moral statement upon it, even though I think everybody knows what I think of the day as a personal witness to it. I want to ask you all, how do you think January 6th should be remembered? And what do you think its impact on history will be? We're going to start in the top left-hand corner with Cam Higby.
Yeah, sure. So, I don't condone the January 6th attack.
Oh my god,
right?
they're so boring. Oh god, it's like 30 minutes every time. The opening
obviously bad, right? People got hurt. They broke into the Capitol. It was wrong and bad, but I don't think that it ranks up there with Pearl Harbor and 9/11 like certain politicians might allude to. And I mean, I guess a lot of my argumentation will kind of revolve around some of the misinformation that's floating around about this event that might come up in this stream, or maybe it won't. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I obviously think it's bad. So let's move on to the next person.
Wonderful. Now I'm going to throw it over to Destiny.
Yeah, definitely bad. I'd rank it somewhere between Nagasaki and Hiroshima in terms of badness. Maybe not quite up to Pearl Harbor, but it's definitely up there. You know, big bad event. Yeah, that's all I got. We'll see where we go on the panel of this. Obviously, it's bad. Some people are exaggerating it, but there's like weird lies being told on both sides about it. But I guess we'll see what we get into on the panel.
Okay. Next, I'm going to throw it to the Hake report.
I think that we should remember the truth about it, and hopefully its impact on history will be that some of the blatant lies will diminish people's blind trust in this
might be the final stream.
The mainstream media, the phony politicians who are all melodramatic about it, pretending to care about Officer Sicknick. And we take a good hard look at ourselves and the way that people want to just hate one another based on hype.
Okay, next we're going to throw it over to IRI.
Yeah, I think Ted Cruz said it pretty well when he called it a terrorist attack. Republican senator from Texas. I would agree with him. It was a terrorist attack. I think that it was our fellow Americans misled by a guy who couldn't accept his defeat. I thought it was unpatriotic. It was also really amazing to see police officers fight in hand-to-hand combat for hours against a mob and protect our temple of democracy. I mean, in the words of Joe Biden, you can't love your country only when you win. So let's see what other people have to say.
Wonderful.
What a great
Lecture
American
fan?
hero, Joe Biden.
All right, first, it wasn't a terrorist attack. We don't have a democracy. January 6th is being blown totally out of proportion for partisan reasons. When you're talking about January 6th, you got to differentiate. What are you talking about? Are you talking about the senators and representatives that validly and legally objected to counting electoral college votes because states had unconstitutional election procedures? Are you talking about people that were there that did not go into the Capitol, that did commit any crimes that were not violent, that were legitimately peaceful protesters? Are you talking about the sort of the rogue elements of the group that actually did commit violence? Are you talking about people that literally walked into the Capitol, didn't even know what they were doing? It shouldn't even be a topic. I mean, it's so irrelevant to society. We shouldn't even be talking about it. This is important as, you know, any local crime story. It's not that big of here's the reality. The reality is the Democrats are bringing this up and spending all this time on it and doing this huge electoral commission because they can't get anything done in Congress and they can't get anything